Forgotten faces, broken treaties, buried legends. These 40 rare Wild West photos reveal a side of history you were never meant to see. 1. The Ghost of Wild Bill Hickok, 1876. Here lies Deadwood's most infamous gunslinger, shot while playing poker with a dead man's hand. Wild Bill's tombstone still draws whispers. This eerie photo, taken just months after his murder, shows his grave beside Calamity Jane, who insisted on being buried next to him. Even in death, their wild legend lived on. 2. Steamboat, the Unbreakable Stallion, 1901. They said no man could ride high, and most who tried flew like paper in the wind. Steamboat, Wyoming's wildest bronco, bucked with such fury that his silhouette became the state's symbol. This photo captures the chaos midair, cowboy airborne, legacy locked in place. 3. Cherokee Princess Lily May, 1888. More than a portrait, this is quiet resistance. Lily May, daughter of a tribal chief, sits still in this wet plate photo, wearing beadwork that speaks volumes. As settlers carved up Indian territory, she preserved her culture one thread at a time. 4. The Last Sundance, 1900. They weren't just dancing, they were defying. In a Cheyenne ritual, warriors pierced their flesh in a spiritual sacrifice. Photographer Edward Curtis captured this rare image just before the U.S. government outlawed the ceremony. It was more than tradition, it was survival. 5. Bass Reeves, The Real Lone Ranger, 1875. This is Bass Reeves, black U.S. Marshal, marksman, and lawman legend. He brought in over 3,000 criminals and even arrested his son. This photo, Colt in hand and justice in his eyes, proves the real Wild West hero wasn't white, and he wasn't playing. 6. Calamity Jane's Final Request, 1903. Love, loyalty, or legend. On her deathbed, Calamity Jane asked to be buried beside Wild Bill Hickok. This photo of their shared gravesite seals their mythical bond in stone. Romance or not, she never let go. 7. Geronimo's Daughter in Chains, 1886. Born in a prison camp, Lena Geronimo's face says what history books forget. Shackled and solemn, this haunting image shows what it meant to be Apache when survival became a sentence. 8. Dodge City's first building, 1872. Before the saloons and shootouts, there was this, just one lonely shack where buffalo hunters traded pelts. A year later, the boomtown was full of blood, booze, and broken dreams. This is Dodge City before the madness. 9. Annie Oakley's Deadshot Demo, 1922. At 62 years old, Annie Oakley could still do what most men couldn't, slice a playing card edge-on with one shot. This photo froze that exact moment, silencing anyone who dared say women didn't belong behind a rifle. 10. The Crow Chief's Last Stand, 1887. 7 Crow leaders stand shoulder to shoulder, stoic, proud, and silent. This wasn't just a photo op, it was a moment of betrayal. They'd honored treaties. The U.S. government hadn't. Behind those frozen stares is the quiet rage of a people who kept their word, while others broke theirs. 11th, Tombstone's Crystal Palace, 1885. Mirrored walls, velvet drapes, whiskey flowing like water. Tombstone's Crystal Palace was the ultimate vice den. Just a few dusty steps from the infamous OK Corral, this was where the Clantons toasted before shootouts and whispered plans over poker chips. 12th, Chief Joseph's Surrender, 1877. You can feel the defeat in his eyes. After 1,400 miles of pursuit, Chief Joseph gave up, not out of fear, but exhaustion. His final words echoed across time, "I will fight no more forever." This image isn't surrender, it's survival captured on film. 13. The 20-Mule Death Wagon, 1870s. One wrong turn and it was over. These wagons hauled borax through blistering desert heat. Pulled by 20 mules across 120-degree wastelands, every trip was a gamble. This photo, a snapshot of pure grit against the elements. 14. Billy the Kid's Posse, 1878. The Regulators, young, armed, and dangerous. This photo, taken just before their leader, Dick Brew, was gunned down, shows the reckless fury of men with guns and grudges. Billy the Kid was their icon. Chaos was their language. 15. Sitting Bull joins the circus, 1885. Sitting Bull, once a feared Lakota warrior, now posing under the spotlight of Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. The same hands that resisted Custer now waved to white crowds. The photo doesn't lie. A chief-turned-performer, dignity on display but caged. 16. The Chinese Merchant of Montana, 1896. Among the miners and mayhem stood Chong's silk shop, unexpected, refined, and thriving. This image shatters the cowboy-only myth of the West. Chinese immigrants didn't just survive. They built, traded, and endured in a world that barely tolerated them. 17. The Ute Dog Soldiers, 1870s. Don't be fooled by the name. These dogs were warriors too. They pulled sleds, scouted game, and took part in sacred rites. Captured in tribal garb beside their human partners, this rare photo honors the bond that helped the Ute endure. 18. The Sundance Woman, 1905. Kate Thunderminer stitched her defiance. Her fashion combined ho-chunk embroidery with frontier fabric, a cultural fusion that wasn't fashion, it was protest. In this portrait, tradition isn't fading, it's fighting back, stitch by stitch. 19. The Real Pretty Flower, 1908. Ow, a Seneca woman wrapped in ancestral elegance. Her beads weren't just decoration, they told stories, held memories, and kept her identity alive. This photo radiates the pride of a woman whose roots ran deeper than any border. 20. The Gold Rush Ghost Town, 1893. Once the heartbeat of dreams, now just bones in the sun. This collapsed mine in Colorado whispers the truth. Most gold rushers found failure, not fortune. In this photo, even the shadows feel abandoned. 21st. The Apache Scouts who hunted Geronimo, 1888. Imagine tracking your people through scorching deserts. 4 Apache warriors in U.S. Army gear, their eyes weighed down with betrayal. They hunted Geronimo not out of loyalty to Washington, but for survival. This haunting photo captures the moral battlefield that few history books dared mention. 22nd. Deadwood's Gem Theater Underworld, 1880. Step into darkness, barrels of whiskey, dice rolling, and Al Swearingen watching from the shadows. The Gem Theater wasn't just a saloon, it was a playground for vice. Gold dust bought anything here except redemption. 23. The Lakota Woman at Crossroads, 1890. She stands tall in an elk-tooth dress, proud and rooted, but behind her looms a settler's log cabin. One photo, 2 worlds colliding. Her presence in that frame? A quiet, defiant no to erasure. 24. The Prospector's Last Stand, 1889. Archie Smith sits alone in front of his sagging Idaho cabin, his beard thick, his eyes tired. The gold rush passed him by, but he stayed. Some came chasing fortune. Others, like Archie, were running from something else. 25. The Mule Train Massacre Site, 1876. Montana soil, quiet now, once soaked in blood. Custer's men died here, and 20 years later, a Lakota survivor returned to take this photograph. It's not just a landscape, it's a graveyard seen through eyes that remembered. 26. The Saloon Piano Man, 1900. He played as bottles shattered and fists flew. Prescott's ragtime pianist didn't just entertain, he kept the madness in rhythm. In this image, his fingers blur mid-note while miners punch out their problems around him. 27. The Cherokee Ball Player, 1905. Lacrosse wasn't a game, it was sacred. But here stands a Cherokee athlete posed like a circus act. White crowds clapped, unaware they were watching a ceremony hollowed into sport. 28. The Chinese Laundry Wars, 1890. Missoula's washermen worked over boiling pots, scrubbing clothes in iron heat. Then came firebombs. Rivalries turned violent. Capitalism didn't care who burned, only who profited. This photo is an industry wrapped in racism and soot. 29. The Outlaw's Mother, 1882. Jesse James' mother holds a newspaper branding her son the devil. But her eyes, they tell a different tale. This wasn't just a grieving mother. This was a woman watching a legend swallow her child whole. 30. The Buffalo Nickel Bison, 1912. 2 icons frozen forever. Chief Iron Tail and Black Diamond, the Bronx Zoo's last great bison. Their bond was real, but neither lived to see their likeness minted on coin. America honored their image, not their lives. 31. The Gold Panning Widow, 1879. Millie Ringgold. A freedwoman turned prospector, she built a boarding house where rent was paid in nuggets. This photo shows a woman who beat the odds with dirt under her nails and gold in her ledger. 32. The Sheriff's Last Coffee, 1923. Wyatt Earp, gray and weathered, stares over the Colorado River. 40 years after the OK Corral, the ghosts still followed. In this quiet photo, he's not a legend, just a man outliving the myth. 33rd. The Umatilla Salmon Feast, 1900. Princesses gather fish on cedar mats, a ritual older than the rivers, but those same rivers were soon dammed, starved, and controlled. This image captures a feast on the edge of extinction. 34. The Fur Trapper's Debt, 1860. An IOU scrawled on stained paper, 2 Crow Brides. James Beckworth, famed explorer, mountain man, and myth maker. His legacy swings between hero and predator. This document doesn't lie. 35. The All-Black Posse, 1895. Yuma's posse stands armed, black farmers now wearing badges. They upheld laws made by men who once owned them on lands taken from others. Justice? Complicated. This photo dares you to unpack it. 36. The Ghost Dance Prophet, 1890. Blurry, mysterious, almost dreamlike. A follower of Wovoka mid-trance, he danced for peace. Weeks later, Wounded Knee would silence the vision, but this moment, caught in grain and motion, still hums with hope. 37. The Stagecoach Bandit's Boots, 1881. Size 14 worn smooth from flight. These boots outran the Texas Rangers 3 times, but dust doesn't lie. They were finally caught, one step from freedom. 38. The Mormon Gunsmith, 1873. His records show deals with Paiute tribes, rifles for pelts. While Utah settlers feared the savages, he armed them. This photo reveals the frontier's biggest myth, that alliances were ever simple. 39. The Bordello's Secret Tunnel, 1885. Behind a whiskey crate in Tombstone, a hidden shaft led crib girls to safety. This photo shows the surface, but beneath it, a whole system built to outsmart morality raids and survive shame. 40. The Forgotten Census, 1914. Bertha Thompson's record, Euro/Yakama blood. Just a line on paper, but to her people, it meant starvation, relocation, and erasure. The camera captured her dignity. Bureaucracy tried to erase it. These aren't just photos. They're ghost stories etched in silver. Each frame reveals the grit, pain, and truth the Wild West left behind. Now that you've seen what history tried to forget, don't let it disappear again. Like, share, and subscribe to keep these 40 lost legends alive.